You've been on a few dates, maybe even a few good ones, and you're thinking this could actually go somewhere. But here's what nobody mentions about dating over 50. We all show up carrying emotional luggage that didn't fit in the overhead compartment, the heavy kind, packed with divorce papers, custody schedules, and that one person who promised they'd never hurt you, then apparently took that as a personal challenge. Everyone needs to feel secure before they can be vulnerable. And vulnerability, yeah, that's where the magic lives. The real connection that makes you want to delete your dating apps and stop telling everybody that you're just seeing what's out there. So today we're talking about how to make him feel safe enough to actually invest. Not because men are delicate snowflakes, but because everyone deserves to feel like they're not about to get their heart handed back to them with a receipt. That sounds at all interesting or intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. You know, we've all been ghosted by somebody who seemed perfectly normal until they vanished like they got recruited by witness protection. So when you text back immediately Tuesday, but then go silent until the weekend, his brain isn't thinking, ooh, intriguing woman of mystery. It's thinking, oh, good, it's happening again. You might think you're playing it cool, but inconsistency doesn't look sophisticated. It looks like you're keeping your options open while he's trying to figure out if he should make plans for the weekend or just stare at his phone some more. If you like him, show it like a grown up, right? Text him back this decade. Follow through on plans without acting like you're doing community service in heels because emotional whiplash isn't sexy. It's really just exhausting. And nobody over 50 has time for the will she or won't she, respond game when there's actual Netflix to watch. My ex always brought wine. My late husband would never order fish on a first date. Richard used to remember my book club readings. Perfect. You just made this new guy feel like he's auditioning for a part that somebody else already memorized and won the Tony for. He's not trying to be Richard. He's not applying to fill a vacancy in your heart's HR department. He's just trying to figure out if you like him. Every relationship gets to write its own story. Let this one breathe without having to live up to the greatest hits album of someone who left the building years ago. Some of you will spend 20 minutes reviewing the lighting, critiquing the valet out front, and explaining how the breadbasket was a personal insult. But saying, oh, thanks for picking this place, or gosh, you look exceptionally handsome tonight, somehow feels like a heavy lift. Meanwhile, he's sitting there wondering if this is a date or an exit interview. You think you're being discerning, but you're actually training him to expect critique. And men who expect critique, they either get very quiet or very gone. So try this instead. You remembered I hate cilantro? Oh my gosh, that's so sexy. I love that you always smell so good. Specific appreciation for specific effort. Who knew? Because right now he's not feeling appreciated. He's wondering if he's dating his annual performance review. When I was a kid, I always wanted one of those giant checks. You know, the ones they deliver to your front door, ringing the bell like you just won the lottery. I mean, I think you did. It didn't matter to me, though, because I didn't even realize it meant thousands of dollars. I just wanted the big check. If you ever felt the same way, I just want to point out today is a special day. It's the day that you could become a channel member. I mean, I'm not going to be cutting you a check the size of a billboard, but depending on the membership that intrigues you, I could be giving you access to a live stream Q&A or a small group Zoom call, or maybe even something else that's not quite as cool as a check the size of your car, but still pretty special. Just you and me and a little extra connection, if you want it. Hit the join button down there and congratulations, you're a winner. All right, let's head on back, shall we? Maybe he watches golf and you think it's about as thrilling as watching paint dry in slow motion. I get that. Maybe he collects something that you find utterly baffling. Maybe his friends seem like people you'd cross the street to avoid. Security comes from liking somebody as is, not the upgraded version that they hope emerges after 6 months. If you can't appreciate who he is right now, with his questionable documentaries and his Wednesday night poker ritual, maybe you're not as compatible as you thought. You're looking for a partner, not a home improvement project. Making someone feel secure isn't about walking on eggshells or managing their feelings like you're their emotional life coach. It's about showing up as somebody who creates safety through consistency and honesty and treating people like actual human beings. The right person doesn't need you to be perfect, but they do need you to be real and present and clear about what you want instead of treating every conversation like a pop quiz they didn't study for. When you stop playing games and start building something real, that's when people stop protecting themselves and start investing in you. That's when you get to the good stuff, the real stuff, the stuff that makes you glad you didn't settle for someone who thought romance meant just showing up on time. I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, as my little mother there is suggesting. And don't forget to subscribe, because if you're ready to build something real instead of just hoping for the best, you're already 10 steps ahead of most people who are just stumbling around out there. I appreciate you being here today, and until next time, have a good one. When people used to ask me how I take my coffee, I'd say with corn and chemicals. That was how I described non-dairy creamer, the one where corn syrup was the third ingredient, and the little pink packets. I use Whole Earth now. That's green, and it has stevia and monk fruit and a few other ingredients I probably don't want to Google. I know, I'm not a good person. I'm not like somebody who drinks their coffee black. I know I'm making mistakes. I know they are better than me. I know I could do better. And I'm here to remind you that you too, you can do better also. If you're just stopping by here randomly whenever you happen to see my smiling face, probably pointing at something you can't even read without your cheater glasses, well, maybe it's time to stop winging it. You can't unknow it, right? Well, might as well subscribe and call it growth. All right, now we can head back to the episode. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it.